Hey grade 11s, hope you're okay and hope you're staying fit and healthy. Today is Thursday the 2nd of April and I'm leaving this video as some help and some tips for how to complete your next home learning program assignment. So the last assignment that you had to do was a preparation one that involved the time machine and your character being sent forward in time to modern day PSD. That was a preparation assignment for hopefully being back at school, but as we now know, we're not likely to be back at school anytime before May, so there are a couple of assignments winging your way. The first one is being set on the 8th of April, and it's to be submitted on the 15th, no later than the 15th. So all those people who are currently unsubmitted for the essay document from 2 weeks ago, here's another reminder for you guys especially, I guess. So what you need to do is you need to consider that work that you did with regards to the time machine. You had to imagine what it would be like for your character to be sent forward in time from 1930s Macomb into 2020 BSD. So here's the task, here's what you have to do. You're living and possibly working, or maybe going to school, depending on your character, in BSD. You need to assume certain things about your character. You understand Bahasa Indonesia, you understand how money works, you've got somewhere to live, but what you're living in and where you're living would represent the kind of environment that you come from in Macomb. It would also reflect the kind of job that you have. So whereas Atticus is a single parent working as a lawyer, in Macomb he doesn't really earn a lot of money, but how would that be different if you were a state employed lawyer working in Indonesia? Would you live in a certain part of BSD? Would you live in a certain area? Would you live in a certain kind of house? That's something for you to consider. And likewise, if your character is somebody like Dill, you are not travelling from Mississippi to BSD every 6 months. You are based here in BSD and you're going to school. And which school you'd go to, I guess that's up for you to decide on the character. So, also what I want you to imagine is that this is pre-coronavirus. Pre-COVID-19. So I don't want you writing an essay about how you're having to stay in your house because you've been locked down or you're learning from home. I want you to imagine, for argument's sake, that it's before the coronavirus and the issues that we're experiencing at the moment. I want you to set it on a Tuesday. Why a Tuesday? Well, because it's a regular school week. It's a regular working day, it's not a weekend day, and I want you to use that same day for comparison from Macomb through to BSD. And don't talk about your routine. I don't want to know, like, at 6:30 I get up, at 6:45 I have a shower, at 7 o'clock I have my breakfast. I don't want to know all that kind of routine stuff. What I'm really interested in getting at is the details about the differences and comparing and contrasting the 2 days in more general terms. And there's only 150 words for this task, so you're going to have to keep it tight. No using the question in the answer. Get straight to the point. Make some clear comparisons. The second thing that you have to do is to imagine a prosperous Macomb in the 1930s without the economic problems that have been brought about by the Great Depression or by the Wall Street crash. And would your character's life be better in that kind of an environment in Macomb in the 1930s? Or would it be better here in modern day BSD, and why? Now this is a fairly simple kind of answer. It's got 50 words for its maximum, so it's not really asking for a great deal of information. It would be a yes or no and then a why explanation. The third part of this task is actually to do with the coronavirus. It's a huge problem for our society here in 2020. It's bad enough here in Indonesia. It's even worse in other countries such as India, where they're having real problems enforcing the lockdown and the way in which they've gone about doing it. But I want to focus on Indonesia and the coronavirus here in 2020. But your characters would have access to some information that's probably not available to modern day people here in Indonesia. Between January and December 2018, there was a pandemic, and it was called the Spanish flu. Now, make it was in the 1930s. These people will be very aware of the effects of Spanish flu. It was a global pandemic. People would have been lost. You might need to do a little bit of research to find out about the impact. But they'll be much more aware of certain things in terms of how to deal with stuff. It might not be the right way to go about dealing with stuff, but they will have some understanding, having recently experienced the Spanish flu pandemic. So what I want you to do in part 3, again with a maximum of 50 words, is to tell me, would it have been better or worse in terms of preparation? Would they have been better or worse in terms of preparation for another pandemic? Would they be handling this better because of their experience than we are handling it, pretty much just facing it first time round for most of us, for nearly all of us, I guess. So that's really what you have to do. Good luck with the task, and if you've got any questions, you've got my line, you've got my WhatsApp, you've got my email, feel free to message me and ask me for some help and some advice. Okay, thanks a lot, stay healthy, stay fit, and I'll speak to you soon.